Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're heading back to 2006, the glowing lights of Berlin's Olympic Stadium. We're looking at one of the most stunning, cinematic, and honestly, tragic final chapters in all of sports history. We're going way beyond the stats here, guys. This is pure human drama, playing out on the biggest stage imaginable. So, let's dive right in. Because we're going to see how a night that was set up for this perfect golden sunset turned into a profound mystery. You know the saying, right? Football, much like life, rarely follows the script. This wasn't just a match. It was a total collision of destiny, unimaginable pressure, and the wild unpredictability of sports.
Act 1, the scripted ending. It's Berlin, July 9th, 2006, and the entire world is watching. Berlin is totally transformed for the World Cup Final. Streets, cafes, public squares, literally flooded with passionate fans in blue shirts. The anticipation is just electric. Every camera is ready for what felt like an absolute coronation.
And right at the center of this swirling atmosphere, Zinedine Zidane. Here's a guy who learned the game on the tough concrete pitches of Marseille, but grew into this global icon of elegance. When you think of Zidane, you think of a player who literally commanded the ball to do his bidding. The ultimate maestro. He had ice in his veins when everyone else was panicking.
But here's the catch. He's 34 years old. In a grueling, incredibly fast-paced tournament that was supposed to belong to the young kids, people were whispering. Had he stayed too long? Were his best days firmly behind him? Well, he completely shut those whispers down. I mean, look at what he did in Frankfurt against Brazil, the defending champions. Against an entire team of absolute superstars, Zidane put on a masterclass. Every touch was magic. He had the Brazilians chasing shadows. Suddenly, the veteran looked entirely unstoppable.
Which brings us to the insane stakes of July 9th. Zidane had already announced his retirement. This was it, the absolute final game of his career. One final opportunity to walk away from football at the very peak. I mean, it's the ultimate cinematic setup, right? The script was practically written for him.
Act 2, the pressure cooker. Because once that referee blew the whistle, that perfect script, yeah, throw it right out the window. This instantly turned into a suffocating physical and emotional war.
The match plays out exactly like a high-stakes Hollywood thriller. We've got early fireworks, a crushing response, and then a terrifying deadlock. Let's break down these cinematic beats. Okay, just 7 minutes in. Millions watching. Zidane gets a penalty against one of the best goalkeepers on the planet. And instead of blasting it with power, what does he do? He goes for pure audacity. A panenka. He gently chips it. It floats, hits the underside of the crossbar, drops in, and for a split second, nobody even breathes. And then it hits you. It is easily one of the boldest goals in World Cup history.
But hey, Italy is a proud footballing nation, and they don't panic. Less than 15 minutes later, they respond. A corner kick sails in, bodies collide, and Marco Materazzi just rises high above everyone else. Boom! A powerful header into the net. We are tied up, and the Italian fans absolutely erupt. The battle is reset.
At this point, it's so much more than just a game. It's a clash of titans, France and Italy. Two deeply proud footballing cultures just going at it, refusing to give up a single inch. You could literally feel the history unfolding in real time. Fast forward past 90 minutes into extra time. The exhaustion is so real. The brilliant bursts of speed are gone. Every tackle is harder, more desperate. It's a heavy, draining atmosphere where every single tiny mistake feels incredibly dangerous. The players are completely running on empty. Act 3, the unscripted fall. Because eventually, high-stakes pressure bends even the sharpest, most composed minds. We are entering the part of the story literally nobody saw coming.
We are at 110 minutes. The players have nothing left in the tank. And sitting right there, gleaming under the stadium lights on the sideline is the World Cup trophy, just waiting. Then, the cameras catch something completely ordinary at first. Far away from the play, Zidane and Materazzi are exchanging words. It happens countless times a match. Just two exhausted guys talking trash, right? Nothing out of the ordinary. But then, it's like time just slows down. Zidane stops walking, he turns around, he walks deliberately right back to Materazzi, and he drives his head directly into the defender's chest. Just a sudden, violent strike. It is, without a doubt, one of the most genuinely shocking acts ever broadcast in sports. Materazzi collapses to the turf. The entire stadium just freezes, and then total chaos. Italians protesting furiously, the French players completely confused, and all of us at home just staring at our screens in pure, unadulterated disbelief as the replays roll from every angle.
The tension is agonizing while the referee talks to his assistants in what feels like an endless discussion. And then comes the devastating verdict: a red card. Only the fourth time in history a player was sent off in a World Cup final. In a split second, the Maestro's legendary career is just over.
There's no grand send-off, no victory lap, no fans chanting his name in joy. There's only the heavy, echoing silence of a lonely man walking toward the stadium tunnel. And during that walk, the cameras catch what has to be the most iconic, heartbreaking image in modern sports history. Zidane, head bowed, walking mere inches past the Golden World Cup trophy. It perfectly captures a legend walking away from the ultimate prize, fully knowing he'll never lift it again. The match, of course, has to finish. It goes to a penalty shootout. The weight of two nations is on the line. But one single French miss changes everything. Italy nails their shots. They claim the crown. Triumphant blue shirts flood the pitch, while the French players just stand there completely motionless. The dream is totally shattered. So, decades later, we're all still asking the exact same question. Why? What was actually said? Why did one of football's greatest players lose control in the final minutes of his career? Even with all the rumors, the endless TV debates, and divided opinions, the exact spark for that headbutt remains one of football's absolute greatest mysteries. And what's really fascinating here is the sheer duality of his legacy. Usually, a massive mistake like that totally ruins an athlete's reputation forever. But with Zidane, fans still completely revere his elegance, his vision, his leadership. Yet, at the exact same time, no one will ever forget that dark edge he showed that night. The two elements are forever locked together in his legend. Which leaves us with this final, really provocative thought. We didn't get that perfect scripted ending in Berlin. But honestly, if football perfectly mirrored a scripted movie, would we even remember it this vividly? Is it the flawless victories that make a story live forever? Or is it those tragic, deeply human flaws where the facade drops? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep questioning, keep exploring, and I'll see you next time.